On Energy Timelines, we bring intelligent conversations and interesting personalities discussing critical issues that shape the industry, even the economy of Nigeria. Join us every weekday on Energy Day TV.
Hello there. Welcome to another time on Energy Timeline on Energy Day TV, a program that gives you information on oil and gas, extractive and power sector. I am Naomi Oba. On the program today, we'll be discussing strictly on oil and gas sector, and our guest for today is the chairman and CEO of the SEDAV Group Limited. He is Engineer David Adebayo Olusegun. So the first question I'm going to ask right now is for you to give us a background of services that you have provided and the company has provided so far.
When we started, I retired from the civil service, and I thought I could bring to bear my experience and exposure in the oil industry, so as to also, have some impact in the oil and gas industry. So we started with rendering some services to the oil and gas in terms of in the area of calibration, providing inspection services to companies, going on safety integrity monitoring, and ensuring that some of these companies, they hire our services to do a bunch of those, and also we try to also provide consultancy to those who may be interested in oil and gas business. Majorly what we concentrated on was providing consultancy services across oil and gas industry businesses, upstream, midstream, downstream, because I have been exposed in all those areas when I was working. So we were consulting for individuals and companies. Newcomers wants to be involved in the oil and gas business. We provide advisory services to a whole bunch of.
Okay, so quickly tell us some of your success stories.
The success story, to be honest, has not been intimidating, because the challenges are there. The services we want to provide, there are people who are already existing in that field. So that kind of, you are faced with competition, and you necessarily need to prove that you have something different, or you can offer something better than those who are existing. However, we've been thriving. I can say we've been thriving in the business. Not really that successful as we want to describe it, but we've been surviving in it, doing our best.
Okay. So let's get your opinion on the clamor by the global markets on energy transition.
The energy transition, because of course, maybe you want me to be talking. You want us to talk about the renewable energy.
Yes.
Of course, the renewable energy comes with a more cleaner. It's more cleaner than the existing energy practice. We have, because of course, there's reduction in environmental pollution, and of course you are going to. It comes with a lot of reduction in the cost of importation of products. It's cleaner, and sometimes I see that it's even cheaper to produce, to manufacture, to install. And that renewable energy frontier is much more, you can say it's much more reliable than what we have existing.
You now agree with the fear that the global push on to transit into cleaner energy may limit the government's drive to harness its crude oil resources before it loses its value?
Of course, because they are going to abandon some of those areas where the government used to make money and come into some other areas. So some of those aspects now, of course, it's going to affect the government drive harnessing the resources, because you are now divesting from an existing practice where you are making some money to a new. However, that does not imply that government will not still make revenue from the new venture. So it's not impossible that if government is not fast enough, proactive, yeah, they may not be able to meet up.
How would you describe the preparedness of the oil and gas industry for the formal takeoff of the PIA in July?
The industry, they do have option rather than to, flow with the trend of implementation. If government says they are ready to implement it, I mean, the PIA is for the benefit of Nigerians, has been put in place for the benefit of Nigerian business and environment and Nigerian people. Those people who are operating in the oil and gas industry will have no option rather than to abide, to comply with the implementation decision. If government decides to say tomorrow we want to start implementing the PIA, what the PIA is coming with, the government has all the power to implement it. We have all of the industry there to implement it. The Nigeria Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission is there to enforce it. We have the Nigeria Midstream, Downstream and Midstream Authority. Those entities of the government have been strengthened to be able to implement the PIA. So as much as government is ready, then the industry has no option than to fall in place, because the government is ready to the overhaul of the administrative, regulatory and fiscal regime is ready to take off. Of course, the government has started doing something in those things. That's why they have this split. NNPC being registered, has become a corporate entity, so that it can also make the over-dependence of NNPC on butter and bread are being provided by the government. It's removed. They now do business. They make money. They make the money that they want to spend. Those are some of those things that PIA has come with. So I don't see any challenge, and I don't see that the preparedness of the industry will not determine the implementation. The implementation will force on the industry to prepare.
So what are the short, medium, and long-term gain that you think the investors can cash on?
Well, initially, when the idea of the petroleum industry base was presented, that was why it took so many decades. There were so many things that were not going to favor the investors, those IOCs. And they had to work against it. That's why so many times the documents, so many things. In fact, the document as it is was not the original document that we saw. A lot of things has been removed, such that the fear of the investors can kind of be, softened. The fear that their business will be seriously hampered by what we had originally had. But now, after refining and putting a lot of work in it, the investors, they are now comfortable. They will still be benefited a lot. There's a lot of gains they will get from that, from the from the implementation of the PIA, which is meant to strengthen business environment, provide the condition for the industries to operate in the community relationship, proper, put in proper perspective.
That means the investors can have a long-term gain.
Long-term gain to cash on. Yeah, that is. Okay.
So what are the policy defects you think the government should still look into in order to grow hydrocarbon industry?
The policy defect. Policy. I think the PIA comes with a lot of the policies that will definitely be useful in that aspect. And for now, I am not able to see any much of the policy defect, rather than honestly the sincerity in the running of the oil and gas. All of the loopholes need to be plugged so that the revenue expectations can still be constant and is still as expected.
The federal government has actually concluded that the marginal oil field bid round, while the licenses are getting set to commence the search for first oil. What is the guarantee that those licenses won't be struggling with funds to finance acreages?
It has always been recurring. It has always been the issue, finance. People secure these licenses. We have some of the licenses that were withdrawn because some obtained it and they couldn't secure sufficient funds. Even, technically, we find companies looking for financial partner, technical partnership for so long. So a lot of them that will still have access to funds, can source for funds to start, they will still start their business. They will still, commence as usual. But I can still tell you, some of them will still lag behind because they may not be able to make provision for the start-off because of the volume of funds that are involved. And this may, most times, what kind of impede on their capacity to move on is money. When they are not able to get sufficient money, technical capacity are always available all over the places. You have people who can, they can always, gather, people who have the ability to do those things around. But the problem most time is money, funding, and a lot of times, that's why a lot of them, they always will struggle to secure the license, but they cannot struggle to start operating, producing, because they still need a lot of money to be able to do all this. Some of them may, for a long time, all of the government fees and levies, they are not even able to pay. Signature bonus, that bonus, this bonus. So, all of those that surround. And if you are not going to be able to meet up with government requirements, you may not be able to start operations.
Okay. So the IOCs are divesting Nigeria from onshore, and there has been some merger and acquisition among indigenous players. Now our question is, how would you rate local oil companies in terms of their capacity to grow their portfolio and take risk on these assets?
Onshore, because of the security risk, the offshore operation is more accessible to all these vandals, saboteurs. So a lot of the companies trying to move offshore, where it's near impossible for vandals, saboteurs, community crisis to touch. And oil production offshore can be much more expensive on the onshore because when you go to offshore, you have shallow offshore, deep offshore. Like that. The deeper it goes, the more expensive the investment that you have to put in. And it also still boils down that you still have to source for funds to be able to keep to maintain, to operate the assets.
Now, looking at looking at Nigeria industry now for the oil and gas, we have seen that Nigeria is one of the oil producing company, but the cost of production is quite high. Now, from data, our data shows that we produce per barrel of crude oil $17, while Saudi Arabia produce at $8.38. We have Iran to produce $9.08, and Iraq produces at $10.57. Now let's look at so much that has been talked about on the role that technology could play in reducing Nigerian cost of production. How best do you think we can reduce costs and optimize profits?
Nigerian factor, let me tell you something here, because sometimes you need to be able to verify and be sure that that cost assigned to the production of per barrel is really true. You know, maybe some people are manipulating some stuff there. It may not be as much, but however, it may not be as much. Just we need some kind of honesty in whatever we are doing in our environment. It may not be much of the technology that we need. What is the technology is Saudi Arabia using that we can't use or we don't have? But we have people who are doing those things, people who are involved in making sure that we don't produce produce the barrel as much as high as that. It can still be reduced. Technology can play a role, but then we still need the sincerity, the honesty of people who are involved. Because Nigeria, for everything, there's always this sharp practices, manipulation here and there. You can. If we are able to conquer the tendencies for manipulating things, corruption, I think, and then, like we say, technology, also the new technology that are coming up that if you can deploy it, we may make possible, reduction in the production of per barrel of oil cost.
Thank you so much for joining us on the program. It has been an interesting time to have you. But before you leave, you have to tell us your words for the government and also citizens of the country as regards oil and gas.
And there's market for gas. We have, gas being converted, to. We have automobile. We have LPG, LNG. You have a lot of useful components that can be derived from gas, and as much as we have gas, we can open up. We can open up the market for it and make it available. More so that the amount of gas we have is so much that it's even sufficient for us to generate so much revenue, because of all of the, the variety component that we can derive from it.
Wow, what an interactive and informative session we had back there. And I hope you have learned a lot from that session. But do not forget that Energy Day TV is here to give to you information as regards renewable energies. And don't forget to click on the subscription button if you have not done so, to always get a notification of all our updates. Until we come your way again for another time on the program, do stay safe and have a lovely time.